Well, welcome everyone. It's been a beautiful day here in the province's second largest municipality and the recreational boating capital of Newfoundland and Labrador, Conception Bay South. Thank you for joining us for our regular public meeting, May 3rd. And again, it's great to be back in chambers with my council colleagues and of course town staff. So let's hit the ground running with the business of the town. And first off this evening, we have the adoption of the meeting agenda for tonight. Moved by Councillor Hillier, seconded by Councillor Hardy. All in favor? And adoption of the meeting minutes from April 19th. Moved by Councillor Connors, seconded by Councillor Barrett. All in favor? Okay. We'll deal with business arising from previous minutes during this council meeting and upcoming meetings. Now we'll move to visitors, presentations, and petitions. And tonight we have something from Councillor Hillier. I believe you have something to table.
Yes, Your Worship, as you're aware, and as most of us are aware, that we've been working through a rezoning process at 73 Cherry Lane. In the past couple of weeks, we hosted a public consultation that was chaired by Mr. Stefan Jepchek as Commissioner. And in the past week, we've received Mr. Jepchek's report. And that's what I want to table this evening, so that we make it part of the public record. We will have this posted to our social media within the next day, and council and certainly committee and council will use this to inform our decision making when we make final decision on that rezoning process over the next week or so.
Thank you, Councillor Hillier, and like the councillor pointed out, this will be available through our social media and our website, hopefully as early as tomorrow for folks to have a look at. Now we're going to move on to some proclamations, and we like to do things a little bit differently here at this council, so we're going to start with a Municipal Awareness Week proclamation from Deputy Mayor Andrea Goss.
Thank you, Mayor Bent. It's my honor this evening to bring forth the proclamation for Municipal Awareness Week. Whereas municipal government is responsible for the provision of services that enhance the quality of life of its citizens, and whereas dedicated mayors, councillors, and staff are essential for the effective governance of their municipalities, and whereas collaboration, partnerships, and citizen involvement are essential for active, sustainable, and vibrant communities. And whereas it is fitting and proper to recognize and encourage the contribution of all who work diligently for the improvement of our municipalities. Therefore, be it proclaimed that May 9th to the 13th, 2022, be known as Municipal Awareness Week in municipalities of Newfoundland and Labrador, in recognition of the vital role of municipal government and in recognition of all those efforts that support it. I hereby declare May 9th to the 13th, 2022, Municipal Awareness Week. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Goss. Now we get a proclamation for Economic Development Week, and I'll call upon Councillor Christine Butler.
Thank you, Your Worship. Good evening, everybody. As Chair of the Economic Development and Tourism Committee, I'm pleased to put forward the following proclamation. Economic Development Week, May 9th to May 13th, 2022. Whereas economic developers promote economic well-being and quality of life for their communities by creating, retaining, and expanding jobs that facilitate growth, enhance wealth, and provide a stable tax base. And whereas economic developers stimulate and incubate entrepreneurism in order to help establish the next generation of new businesses, which is the hallmark of the Canadian economy. And whereas economic developers are engaged in a wide variety of settings, including rural and urban, local, regional, provincial, and federal governments, public-private partnerships, chambers of commerce, universities, and a variety of other institutions. And whereas economic developers attract and retain high-quality jobs, develop vibrant communities, and improve the quality of life in their regions. And whereas economic developers work in the town of Conception Bay South within the province of Newfoundland and Labrador. Now, therefore, I, Christine Butler, Councillor at Large of Conception Bay South, do hereby proclaim May 9th to the 13th, 2022 as Economic Development Week and remind individuals of the importance of economic development to this community in enhancing quality of life. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Butler. And finally, we have the Safety and Health Week, and I'll call upon Councillor Rex Hilliard to bring the proclamation. Thank you very much, Councillor Hillier, and I want to thank our Occupational Health and Safety person, Denise Sterling, for bringing forward that proclamation for Council this evening. And I also just want to note that we don't have a proclamation, but this is Mental Health Awareness Week in the province of Newfoundland and Labrador, and I just want to bring that attention to people. And of course, mental health awareness is something that we all should take some time to educate ourselves for the benefit of our own selves, as well as our family members and our friends and others in the community. Okay, we're going to move ahead to new business, and we're going to start this evening with Ward 4 Councillor Melissa Hardy.
Thank you, Mayor Bent. Nothing new to bring forward for Ward 4, but one thing I'd like to let all of the residents know is a reminder of the infrastructure maintenance that is scheduled for tomorrow, May 4th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and there's multiple areas that are being affected. Wiseman's Lane, Ocean Breeze Place, Ava's Place, Gully Pond Road, Marvel Place, Gully Pond Place, and Sunday Place. So just want to make sure everyone, because that is only tomorrow. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Hardy, and I'd like now to call upon Councillor Josh Barrett.
Thank you, Your Worship. Good evening, folks. Just wanted folks, you may be aware, but the federal government proclaimed 2022 as the Year of the Garden, and shortly after that, the town of Conception Bay South announced their participation in this initiative as well. And so as a result of that, we struck a Year of the Garden committee, and we had our inaugural meeting on April 27th, which I had the opportunity to attend. And it's great that we have some dedicated volunteers to this, because I do not have green thumbs. And so the fact that we have a number of folks that are very good in this area is excellent. And so as part of Come Home Year and our Communities in Bloom and Year of the Garden, we're looking at different ways to kind of beautify the community. And so looking forward to some of the things that they have in the hopper there. And although the call for volunteers is closed, I'm sure if you still want to get involved, you can contact the town, and we'd be happy to get your assistance as things come up. So I just wanted to make residents aware of that. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Barrett. And now we'll move on to Councillor Connors.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and good evening, everybody. Just a couple of things I just wanted to mention for now. Last meeting, I talked about the Humboldt hockey game that the Junior Renegades and the Senior Blues play. I'm glad to announce here tonight that they raised $1,200 to go towards the food drive, and of course that food drive is the Spirit of Alex and Raleigh Mercer, which is happening in May 9th, and to support the local food bank. So Residents are encouraged to support this initiative and donate non-perishable items to that particular event. I also want to take this opportunity, last week was National Volunteer Week, and I would like to thank all the volunteers within Conception Bay South for the important work that you do. And during the town's Volunteer Appreciation Night on Monday past, we named Hope Bishop Fussell as the Youth Volunteer of the Year, and Mr. Eric Hart as the Citizen of the Year. Two of these people are very active in our community and they do a lot of great work. So I want to congratulate them, but I also want to go to congratulate the very deserving nominees for the Citizen of the Year Award, were including Eileen Kavanagh, Clifford Fowler, Robert Squires, Ryan Peach, and Noreen Taylor.
Thank you, Councillor Connors, and it's a great testament to the depth of volunteerism in our community with those nominees this year. Incredible nominees for sure. I'm going to call upon Deputy Mayor Andrea Goss now.
Thank you, Mayor Bent. I just want to make mention of the recent AGM at Manuels River. So on Thursday, April the 28th, Manuels River had their AGM. They had hoped to have it in person, but due to COVID and some of the key people being sick, they went virtual. So Manuels River, as we know, is a very important part of our community, and it's a charity. Charities and not-for-profits have struggled a lot through the pandemic, but Manuels River has managed to come forward and put forth a very favorable financial report through their use of grants, or their access to grants and funding, and some creativity. They're moving forward in 2022 in a very positive light. So they brought some things forward in their AGM. Over the last year and a half, they kind of looked within, and they looked at their branding. They looked at some things, changing some things, governance, and they. So in the AGM, they spoke to their growth from the time that they were incorporated in 1992. And at that time they were incorporated, they named themselves Manuels River Natural Heritage Society. In 2013, the Manuels River Hibernia Interpretation Center opened. So all these years later, we've watched this center become such an integral part of our community. It's like a little community hub. And so they looked at their operation and who they were or who they are, and they looked at revising their purpose. They see themselves as a community-based organization supporting the town of Conception Bay South and its residents. They looked at themselves as supporting sustainability, growing minds, and community wellness. And they see themselves as supporting all ages and being part for, something there for everybody, all ages. So they looked at who their people are. Who are the people in the community who are so important to Manuels River? They looked at their voting members, their donors and supporters, their volunteers, trail users, people who attend events there, use the cafe, the people who take in the guided tours, children, youth, adult, seniors, and all the programming that they provide for all those different groups. They provide, they look to the people, the school groups and the field trips, and that's another important part of the community that they service, and so many more. So what I'm getting to is that one of the things they brought forward in their at AGM was to they looked at the name, and they wanted a new name. They wanted a fresh name, something that fit better for who they are today in 2022. So it was passed at their AGM that they are now the Manuels River Community, Inc. And I think that's a really good fit for them. So that was the final point at the AGM, and I just want to congratulate them on coming forward through a very difficult time and still maintaining and doing so well, and congratulate them on their new name and everything that they do. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Goss, and of course, the town's very proud to be able to support the efforts down at the Manuels River Community Inc. And I like the name because I like the word community, and they're part of it and a big part of it, and very proud to have them here. Councillor Rex Hillier.
Yes, Your Worship, I'll be quick, but since we're down at Manuels River, just just want to point out that we finally started the new set of pedestrian operated lights at Easton's Road, and it's going to be a large project. It's going to be fabulous when it's done to increase the safety of that crossing. Predicting probably 6 to 8 weeks work there. And I just want residents, motorists and so on to be aware that lanes will be closed on various days so that we can practice safe driving in that area.
Thank you, Councillor Hillier. Yeah, it's good to see that going for sure. Councillor Butler.
Thank you, Your Worship. I have a few little tidbits, as I always do. Music NL hosted a music town hall at Worsley's Park on Thursday, April 28th at 7 p.m. The event complemented the goals and objectives within our tourism development strategy, incorporating the music and arts industry. We look forward to working with Music NL in the future to encourage collaborations and opportunities to continue to support our local musicians. And I'll also add that I enjoyed chatting with all the musicians and listening to their stories. It was quite interesting to hear all about the work and the time that goes in to their performing. Theatre CBS. Tickets are now on sale at Eventbrite for The Hollow, June 2nd to the 4th at All Saints Parish Hall. I already have my ticket. And on Saturday, April 30th, the CBS Squash Club and the Recreation Complex hosted the Mayflower Junior Squash Tournament. In total, there were 16 players who participated in the tournament, 8 players in silver and 8 players in bronze. For some players, this was their very first tournament. I stopped in for a visit and took in some of the action, and I also had a chat with Sophie and Owen, who were recent winners at the Atlantics. The winners for each division were as follows: Junior Silver, champion Ben Smith; runner-up, Carter Lake; consolation winner, Warren Butler; Junior Bronze, champion Wyatt Bursey; runner-up, Harry Kennedy; consolation winner, Jonathan Pardy. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Butler, and it was great to have Music NL's Town Hall meeting here in CBS, and from the talent we have from one end of town to the other, you know, I think that music in this community is going to play a big role in our tourism strategy going forward. I think there's lots of opportunities, and it's great to see them out. They're excited about being part of it, and it's great to have Music NL out here. Maybe they'll move head office out here someday, because they'd be a good hub for them to be a center for the Northeast Avalon of music, because our talent is so deep. I just want to touch on a couple of things over the past week or two. I want to thank the Royal Orange Lodge for inviting me to attend their dinner associated with their 148th annual sessions for the lodge in Kelligrews. I thank them for their community involvement while I was there, and their support of things like the Janeway, Daffodil House, and of course our Monument of Honor. It was a great evening up there, and of course at All Saints you get a great meal. There's no doubt about that every time you go there. I also want to thank the Rotary Club of the Avalon Northeast for inviting me to give, I guess, what you call the State of the Town address to them. Rotary has had a tremendous impact on our community over the years, a great involvement in projects from Topsail Beach, Jim Crosby Field, Parsons Memorial Park, Manuels River Interpretation Center, or Manuels River Community Inc. now, and the list goes on of the involvement that Rotary has had here in our community. So thank you to them, and assured them that renewing and strengthening our partnerships with our community groups is going to be a key focus of this council, and critical to the future success of the projects in our town. So it was great to be there. Also, I want to note we had a great meeting with the RNC last week, and we thanked Outgoing Detachment Lead Inspector Alex Brennan for his service since the detachment opened here in Conception Bay South. He's moving on. And we welcomed in the new CBS detachment lead, Inspector Steve Knight, who is taking the reins down there at the office. He comes from the same position in Labrador West, and we spoke to him about key issues we have as a council, increased presence and awareness initiatives that we hope to start over the next few months. And we're looking forward to working with the RNC going forward, as we have in the past. And it's great to have Inspector Knight here to work with us in CBS. Also, on Sunday morning at the Monument of Honor, the Battle of the Atlantic Commemorative Service was held, and the event was also commemorated the Battle of Vimy Ridge, the Battle of Normandy D-Day, and Tusker Flight 27. Tusker Flight 27 crash claimed the life of CBS resident Daryl Cronin. Her Honor Lieutenant Governor Judy Foote was on hand to lay a wreath, as well as a very special presentation to two women here in Conception Bay South. She presented the Silver Cross to Audrey Mercer, mother of Charles Mercer, and Patricia Turner, wife of Donald Turner. Both men lost their lives while proudly serving their country. As well, Sarah Tulk, a student at Holy Spirit High School, presented a beautiful poem that she wrote to honor those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in protecting our nation, and it was an absolutely wonderful poem, and we thank her for that. And the event was highlighted by a flyover by the Canadian Armed Forces Search and Rescue Helicopter just about 15 minutes into the service. So I want to thank the Royal Canadian Legion Branch 50 in Kelligrews for organizing this ceremony. Very fitting remembrance of Battle Atlantic and the other things that were commemorated on Sunday morning. It was great to have the Lieutenant Governor present in our community. I believe that's the second time she's been here for an event now in the past 2 or 3 weeks. So we are going to move on to the business of the town, recommendations of the Planning and Development Committee. Turning it back over to Chair, Councillor Rex Hillier.
Thank you, Your Worship. Following recommendations come forward from our committee meeting from Monday week past. 5A, 132 Swansea Street. Be it so resolved that in accordance with sections 15 of the town's fence regulations, application 1408 received on March 31st, 2022 for a front yard fence along the northern side boundary and front boundary of 132 Swansea Street be approved on condition that portions of the fence forward of the building line have a maximum height of 1.2 meters. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Butler. Discussion? All in favor? Contrary minded? Carried.
Number 5B, 11 Traders Place. Be it so resolved that in accordance with Council's discretionary authority as Section 13A of the town's fence regulations, application number 1437, dated at April 7th, 2022, for a fence to be built along the northern property boundary of 11 Traders Place, abutting the road right-of-way, be approved. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Connors. Discussion? All in favor? Contrary minded? Carried.
5C, 5 Parameters Lane. Be it so resolved that in accordance with sections 15 of the town's fence regulations, application 1440 received on April 7th, 2022 to repair and replace a front yard fence at 5 Parameters Lane be approved on condition that the property owner agree that no liability will attach to the town for damages to the fence as a result of the town's road and winter maintenance operations, and that repaired or replaced the fence be no higher than the existing fence. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Hardy. Discussion? All in favor? Contrary minded? Carried.
Your Worship, we usually don't deal with run-of-the-mill fence applications, but tonight, and we've got another one later on, we've got 4, and the reason why we see these is because of the location of them. They're along the front boundary of the property, or they're along the side boundary of the property in front of the houses, which goes against our regulations. And when we see those come forward, staff automatically passes those along to committee to deal with. 5D, 27 Dawes Place. Be it so resolved that in accordance with Council's discretionary authority at sections 10.7, 10.11.2 of the Town's Development Regulations, application 1381 received on March 28, 2022 for a hobby farm used to keep 10 laying hens at 27 Dawes Place be approved on condition that no roosters be housed at the property, submission of an acceptable manure management plan, and that the property register with the Provincial Farm Premises ID program. So moved.
Seconder. Deputy Mayor Goss, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Where are we? 5E, be it so resolved that in accordance with Council's discretionary authority at sections 10.7 and 10.11.2 of the Town's Development Regulations, application number 1306 received on March 7, 2022 for development of a 10-unit row dwelling at 2937 Country Path Road be approved. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Hardy, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
5F, 6 Easton's Road. Be it so resolved that in accordance with section 5.33 of the Town's Development Regulations, application number 1116 received on December 3rd, 2021 for an 11-metre by 11.6-metre extension to an existing accessory building at 6 Easton's Road be approved. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Barrett, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
5G, be it so resolved that in accordance with sections 15 of the Town's Fence Regulations, application 1575 received on April 14, 2022 for a front yard fence along the northern side boundary of 27 Forest Road be approved on condition that the portion of the fence forward of the building line has a maximum height of 1.2 meters. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Connors, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
5H, be it so resolved that in accordance with Section 15 of the Urban and Rural Planning Act 2000, Municipal Plan Amendment Number 21, and Development Regulations Amendment Number 39, 2022 for proposed rezoning of a portion of the property at 512 Conception Bay Highway be referred to the Department of Municipal and Provincial Affairs for determination of any provincial interests. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Butler, discussion?
Yes, Your Worship, this is another rezoning application. Earlier in the meeting, I brought forward the report from Commissioners' meeting or consultation, public consultation. This is where we are tonight is an early stage in working through that rezoning process, and ultimately we would think that we will come down to another Commissioner's report some weeks or months down the road.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Excuse me, Mayor Bent, there's an item in the blanket resolution for planning that I declared, excuse me, that I declare conflict on in the past for Incinerator Road.
Okay.
Mr. Worship, this is the blanket recommendation from our meeting of April 25th. You can see there are some other items there that did not require to bring forward recommendations this evening. Be it so resolved that the decisions and recommendations made at the Planning and Development Committee meeting on April 25th, 2022 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Barrett, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Thank you, Your Worship. That's it from planning this evening.
Thank you, Councillor Hillier, and we can bring the Deputy Mayor back into chambers before we start recommendations of the Engineering and Public Works Committee, and this evening that'll be brought forward by Councillor Melissa Hardy.
Thank you, Mayor. There's no public motions this evening, but I do actually have a couple of things I'd like to bring forward just for the residents. So capital projects, the town continues to scale up our construction now for the 2022 season. The next phase of the water and sewer, road paving, and water and sewer upgrade projects are in design and the tender stages, with their tender expecting to be in the next few weeks. The construction of the Easton's Road pedestrian traffic lights have also begun this week. The traffic lanes in the construction zones are reduced, and we ask that the public respect the construction signage and use extra caution in the area to keep safety top of mind. Also, the Parents Road pedestrian traffic light upgrades will begin later this month. A little note here now on the traffic calming. As part of the town's traffic calming program, some temporary speed cushions are going to be installed this month as the street sweeping and road markings in the respective areas are completed. So you'll certainly see that coming in the next few weeks. And we are committed to the public safety and continuing with the installing of the temporary speed cushions in the locations that we experience seasonal high traffic areas that are leading to our town facilities. So certainly encourage residents to look to our town site for those locations. And one, quick notice here. The town's bulk waste drop-off program is going to be available for the next 3 Saturdays, beginning now this Saturday, May 7th. The drop-off site is 43 Gateway Drive, beginning at 8 a.m., and the program details are available on the town's website. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. So you're going to make the recommendation now for the blanket?
Yeah, that's right. So be it so resolved that the recommendation and decisions made at the Engineering and Public Works Committee meeting of April 26th be accepted as presented. Traffic calming, water statistics, waste first quarterly report, and our capital projects. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Hillier. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried. Thank you, Councillor Hardy. Now recommendations of the Recreation and Leisure Services Committee. Chair, Councillor Moores, and Councillor Moores isn't here this evening. Councillor Connors is stepping into the role. Thank you, Councillor Connors. And Councillor Connors, just before you get to the blanket, I am in conflict on an item in the blanket, and I'll leave the chair so you can continue with that, and Deputy Mayor Goss will take over for me.
Councillor Connors.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. We only have the blanket recommendation tonight as well, but we did have a fairly lengthy discussion on topics that are listed in with the blanket agenda. I wanted to highlight just 3 things here now that were discussed, just to let residents know that planning for the Killigrew Surrey is in full swing. So this year we're hoping to move back to the in-person so everyone can get out and enjoy the events of the Killigrew Surrey. It's going to run from July 9th to the 15th, and I don't have all the details yet, so in the next week or so we'll be announcing the very near future. Regarding the garden party concert, the band lineup, as well as tickets and pricing. So once again, everybody get ready for the Killigrew Surrey to come back to life again after 2 years, I think, of not being held. I also want to say, as it was discussed at our meeting, that as the snow from the past winter, although we didn't have a whole lot of snow this year, thank God, has finally melted. There's a significant amount of garbage and litter that can be seen around town. And residents and businesses are encouraged to take a few moments to clean up the litter around their neighbourhood, with registration now open for the 3-hour challenge. Residents can sign up to get their cleaning supplies free of charge that will be picked up by the town on the day of the cleanup. Registration online through the town's website. And the other one that I wanted to mention is something that hasn't been around for the past couple of years due to COVID, and that this year we've spoken to the schools, and we're going to have the Shield Hockey Tournament, hockey games. Once again, I know this is big at the high school level and at the junior high level between the two schools. So this usually takes place, of course, during our Winterfest, but this year is going to be going during the week of May 14th to the 20th. Games will include, there will be games in the junior and senior high teams for both the male and female divisions, as well as the Holy Spirit Alumni Game, or the high school alumni game. Sorry, the Shield is, hockey tournament also serves as a great fundraiser for the local schools, so although hockey is winding down and Stanley Cup playoffs and everything on, it's a good time to get out and see some great hockey between the schools. Be it so resolved that the recommendations, decisions made at the Recreation and Leisure Services Committee meeting of April 26, 2022 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder? Any discussion? Contramanded? Motion carried. Thank you, Councillor Connors. And can we bring back Mayor Bent?
Okay. I believe we're at the recommendations of the Financial and Administrative Services Committee. Chair, Deputy Mayor Andrea Goss.
Thank you, Mayor Bent. So from our administrative and financial meeting of April the 25th, I'm bringing forward the following recommendations. Item 8A is our accounts payables checks. Be it so resolved that approval be given to pay accounts payable checks in the amount of $269,896.95 as per the attached listing. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Hardy. Discussion? All in favor? Contrary minded? Carried.
Okay, next item is 8B, it's our manual checks. Be it so resolved that approval be given to ratify the payment of manual checks totaling $177,891.10. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Barrett. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Next item is our capital invoice approval. Be it so resolved that approval be given to pay capital invoices totaling $110,319.29 as per the attached report. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Connors. Discussion?
Mayor Bent, these are invoices for our capital works projects. It's all engineering there right now. Everything's in the planning and preparing stage and getting ready. There's some engineering on our community park, our coastal assessment of Long Pond, the Duns Hill pilot project, Phase 48, the 2022 streets projects, 2022 water and sewer upgrades. So lots of work going to be happening in the town of Conception Bay South.
Absolutely. And that total is going to get bigger as we go forward.
They get bigger, yeah. That's going to get bigger.
Okay. All in favor? Do we have a
Aye.
seconder yet? No, we don't, do we? Do we? Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
all in favor. Contrary minded? Carried.
Next item, 8D, is tax and other adjustables, and be it so resolved that approval be given to adjustments to tax and other receivables as followed, and actually it's a request that was denied. And it's a request for a refund on a non-refundable application, so we denied the request. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Butler. Discussion? All in favor? Contrary minded? Carried.
Okay, the next item, 8E, be it so resolved that the order issued on August 26, 2020, under the Department Regulations 2011, ordering the removal of all livestock from the property located at 302 Conception Bay Highway, Long Pond, Conception Bay South, be rescinded. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Barrett. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
So before I do the blanket recommendation, I just want to clarify some. Are we good?
I didn't see an opportunity to vote on that one. So
Oh, okay.
I don't see it, though. Okay. We'll move on. I'll vote. I'm in favor. Okay, Deputy Mayor.
Okay, thanks. So before I bring forward the blanket recommendation from our meeting, I just want to clarify in the new business, I mentioned Manuels River changing their name. It's actually their legal name. They're changing from the Manuels River Natural Heritage Society to the Manuels River Community, Inc. And the building will remain the same. The building is still the Manuels River Interpretation Center. So I just wanted to clarify that. I don't want to add any confusion. So on with the recommendation for the blanket recommendation. So be it so resolved that the recommendations of the Financial Administrative Services Committee held on April 24th be accepted as presented. And the following items were discussed: our e-scribe, the Municipal Symposium, the PMA Conference, Frank Roberts Junior High School, Variance Report, Chamberlain's Park Action Committee, Annual Financial Statement Audit, and Staffing. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Hardy. Further discussion? And of course, with the e-scribe, it's a work in progress. We're implementing it a little bit at a time. I think we've actually moved to a new level this evening. I'm getting nodded at from IT. So yeah, and that'll be, I guess the public will see changes as we move forward, but we'll have that fully implemented as soon as we possibly can. With regards to Manuels River Community Inc. or Manuels River Interpretation Center, we call it Manuels River.
It's Manuels River.
Manuels River.
And
That's
we
what we're
all know where it is.
All right.
Thank you.
All in favor? Contrary minded? Carried.
Thank you, Mayor Band.
Okay, thank you. Recommendations of the Economic Development and Tourism Committee, Chair Councillor Christine Butler.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just the two recommendations this evening out of our meeting of April 26th. And the first one is 9A, Downtown CBS Annual Budget. Recommendation, be it so resolved that the 2022 budget for downtown Conception Bay South be approved. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Baird. Discussion? Microphone.
Okay, I had it on. The Downtown Conception Bay South Business Improvement Association is managed by a board of directors made up of business owners from the over 120 businesses located between the Manuels River Bridge and Terminal Road and from the trailway to the shoreline. The mandate of Downtown CBS is to promote its members' businesses, enhance the experiences for consumers and visitors, and improve the conditions for business diversification and development within the boundaries of the business improvement area. A business located in downtown CBS automatically becomes a member of the downtown CBS and pays an annual levy of 10% of their business tax, which constitutes the revenue for the board to manage and execute their mandate. Some of the projects they have completed over the coming years, over the years, have been the Trailway Loop, sidewalks along the south side of Route 60 to facilitate a looped walk via the Trailway, facet improvement programs of some businesses, branded street signage, and an enhanced social media presence. They look forward to completing another section of the Trailway Loop in 2022 and hoping to leverage funding to complete some beautification projects. Per the town CBS regulations, the annual budget is required to be approved by the town, which is $82,253.21 for 2022.
Okay, all in favor? Contrary minded? Carried.
And our blanket recommendation, be it so resolved that the recommendations and decisions made at the Economic Development and Tourism Committee meeting of April 26, 2022 be accepted as presented, and you'll see a list of them there on your screens there. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Deputy Mayor Andrea Goss. Discussion? All in favor? Contrary minded? Carried. Thank you, Councillor Butler. Are there any other committee reports this evening from anyone? No hands? Okay, well, thank you very much. This concludes. I am not ready to adjourn. I'm just about ready to adjourn. They want to get me out of here quick, and I don't blame them. I just want to say that we'll be back here again in 2 weeks on May 17th for our next public council meeting. Hope everyone has a great time, and in the meantime, and we have some good weather to enjoy it. So thank you very much. I will call for a motion to adjourn from Councillor Hardy and seconded by Councillor Hillier. All in favor? Thank you.